All right. So we're going live. We're going live. And
Live
live.
from New York.
And you
It's
guys,
Saturday.
I can't with this. You guys,
Oh, okay.
you guys who are out there watching, this is the planet of Christ. We're coming to you live right now for our Blerd panel. This is actually our second annual Blerd panel. Last year, we basically had the same guys that you're going to be seeing today, except we are minus Adrian on this one, and we are plus Stephen Paul on this one. So we just,
Hey, man of the hour.
we are,
Beard is in effect.
yes, we're glad because we finally have Stephen Paul here. We didn't get him last year, so we're still waiting on Ruben and Lloyd. Hopefully, we'll get them in a little bit. But besides that, we're all here to basically talk about topics, of course. This year, we have a different topic from last year. We're going to go ahead and dive into the ethics of being super. And this is a really extensive topic. So we're going to try to break this thing down as much as we can. For those of you who are out there watching, if you want to follow the conversation, please live comment and I will read those comments to our panel here. You guys pretty much hear from me all the time on the planet. So I'm going to let these guys really spearhead the conversation and we're going to go from there. So hopefully, let's check on. Oh, I hear myself.
Oh, I was
uh,
watching it, my
no,
bad.
you're good. Let me see. I got the link from text. Never got it from my actual Hangouts. Sorry, out there live. We're trying to get Ruben on here. So yeah, again, guys, if you're out there listening and watching or whatever, join in on the conversation. Live chat below, and I will read that to the panel so that you guys can join the conversation. Like I said, this topic is like super extensive. So I sent like the bullets to the guys and I'm like, yeah, this is what we're talking about. And Stephen Paul's like, oh, so we talk. And I'm like, yeah, literally. Like literally. Yeah. So I'm gonna present the questions to our panel here and we're gonna go at it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Sorry. Why is he calling? Is Ruben on here, guys? No?
I tried
I
to
don't
add
see
him,
him
but it
yet.
sent me a little message and said if I added him, it'd kick me off the call.
Mm, okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to start with the first question just to get you guys going. And meanwhile, I'll be working on getting Ruben joined in the call. All right. So let's get this thing started. So, the first thing I want to ask you guys, open floor discussion. So, anybody and everybody can join in to the conversation. So, I really want to talk about drawing the line between a hero vigilante and a villain.
Mm.
So, let's talk about taking the law into our own hands, right? So, what separates a hero from a vigilante, and then what separates a hero from a villain? Like, where's that barrier in y'all's opinion? Because in the past, I'd say what 1 to 2 years, we've gotten a lot of comic book movies where we look at the villains and we're like, is this really a villain? You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what are their motives? How do their motives align with everything else that they're trying to do? You know what I'm saying? So where do we draw that line?
I think Captain
Uh,
America Marker should go first.
Oh
uh,
yeah.
um, I guess based on the initial question, you said a hero, a vigilante, and a villain. I think it all comes down to
Yeah.
choice.
Okay.
Uh, Having a choice. I think a hero does something when he has no other choice. Like you don't it's not pre-planned. It's not it's just like oh I just step in that moment, and that's kind of what makes a hero a hero. Somebody who
Right.
runs into a burning building and try to save somebody. That's a hero. A vigilante, I would say, is somebody who goes out with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? To try to do something on their own. You know what I'm saying? Like to try to be a hero, but yet on their own against outside of the law in a sense.
Okay.
Um, and I guess it may be for more so their own selfish you know what I'm saying, they're more like selfish things, you know, desires or whatever, based on like they're targeting this. It's not so much for the overall good, but it's like, okay, I have a vendetta against these bad people, so I'm gonna go and make sure I get these bad people out of here, these particular group of folks or whatever. And then, of course, the villain is just, you know, like you said, it's a little gray area there, but they have their own twisted or warped concept of reality or what they believe is good. You know what I'm saying? So, and in the end, it ends up hurting more than it helps.
Mhm.
So I think that would be my just initial take on that question. So
Okay. That's good. I like that.
Well, I mean, if I could go next, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, bro.
yeah,
You
I
got
think
it.
I think I boiled it down to three different things. What would separate the hero from the vigilante from the villain? It's got to be means, motive, and method.
I
So
like it.
you know,
I like it.
your motive, like what drives you to do what you do? Is it for personal gain? Is it is it vengeance? Is it the night? Is it because you Batman? But whatever it is that drives you, your motive, your means, like how are you like able to do this? What allows you to do this? What gives you the authority to do this? And if you're going outside of another authority, then we know where you lie on that. And then your methods, like I don't necessarily believe that it takes, all the violence, all the killing, or all the different things to get your point across. But if you're a person that, does those things and feels comfortable doing those things, and you feel that, that method helps you get to your means and your motive, then I think we know where you lie on that spectrum, doing harm to others for your own personal gain. Clear cut makes you a villain. That's just how I feel about that. Had to give you 3 points, to preach at me. So
I appreciate that.
I like that.
Um, what'd you say?
I like that. I like the way you broke that down. That was good.
I know that was smooth. I like it. Stephen Paul, what you got?
I actually agree with both. So Marcus and was like both of y'all like brought out points that I intend on bringing out. I think the one piece I want to add is going into the realm of villain. In my mind, I think what takes you across that line is when whatever you're trying to accomplish harms others in an unbalanced way.
Mm,
So the reason I say that is because we have wars and like people get killed in wars, but like there may be a genuine conflict, a genuine misunderstanding going between. Whereas like I think the realm of villain is like there's nothing genuine. It goes back to what Woods was saying, like about means and motive. And I think when we look at genuine villains, we don't see a positive outcome either because of the means that they're taking or because of the motivation that they have. So if you think about like, okay, let's take the most classic villain, the Joker. Okay,
mm.
so what is his motivation? Chaos. That's why
yeah.
he's a villain. You see,
I just
but then
want to see
let's
the
take
world burn, man.
right, and it ends up hurting people in an unbalanced way. If we take
Mhm.
the other end of the spectrum of a villain, Killmonger, well, his motivation may have been correct in that he wanted people liberated, but what means was he going about it? He didn't think
Exactly.
about providing financial stability or increased education or increased access to resources. He just said, oh, just kill everybody who oppresses you, which those means ends up hurting people in an unbalanced amount. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
like
perfect sense. I do like it.
Dr.
I
Paul.
think oh, philosopher Paul.
Here I go.
Pull out that clipboard.
But I think all
Where
of
Jensen
that.
at? Say something,
I
Jensen.
know. I was like, where is Jensen?
I was just gonna just like chill, hang back, because y'all got the smarter answers than me.
Oh my gosh.
Don't do that. Don't do
Really?
that, man.
Really,
Don't do
Jensen?
that.
Jensen answer gonna be, well, you a villain if you want these hands. That's that's what his answer gonna be.
The simplified version is.
Well,
Hey,
I
Oh.
look, mine's pretty much simpler. When I look at a villain, they always try to do something wrong, terrible, or just crazy. Like, you said Joker. I think villain. I'm thinking Carnage. He's just
Mm.
he
yeah,
just or whatever host he has is just crazy, because Cletus is the most known one, but he like Seaman, he could take over different people, but I think Constantine Cletus, he was just crazy. He just like want to do harm. He was just insane. When I think Vigilante, I think they want to do something right, but they're kind of doing it at a different method, or more like brutal, almost borderline method. So I would think Punisher.
Yep, Punisher. Yeah, that's what I was
Exactly.
Some people consider him a villain at times. Well, maybe not even a villain, but his methods would be kind of villainous in a way, and how he does. He just wants to put, he'll put you down. He feel you're doing wrong no matter who you are. As he's even, what I'm saying, anybody, I ain't trying to be funny, but anybody can get it in the punch eyes besides Captain America, because which he has stated multiple times, he has like the utmost respect for. So that's why he's never kind of really, went at Captain America, because of the respect, but anybody else could get it with him. And now Hero, you can use a bunch of different people. I would say like,
Spider-Man,
like Captain America, like Wonder Woman. I think anybody else can get it. I think she's a good hero. And now Hero, that's what I feel. Just keep it simple. She's always, she's gonna be down for the cause, do whatever's good, even if it is brutal. But it's gonna be towards the villain. Now she's fought other Justice League members and stuff, but most of the time she's always gonna be looking out, doing what's good, what's right. So I put Wonder Woman. That's my example.
Right. I agree with everybody. The one thing I always think of though is, how do certain villains or vigilantes, whatever, get to certain motives though? Because something has to happen in each of their lives in order for them to get pushed to that point, right? So it's like, then are they really crazy, or was it just the things that they went through? Because at any point,
Well,
any hero could turn into a villain.
Well, I think that's when you taking into consideration people like the Punisher. Like, it was
Right.
definitely something that happened to him that pushed him over the edge. Like, I'm pretty sure. Like, if we just take, the net. Oh, look at Ruben.
What?
Oh, we got
If
Ruben.
we
It's
just take
Ruben.
he ran back to the bathroom. But if we just take if we take the
Ruben
Take a long time to calm that beard on the Ruben.
Hey, I'm sorry. But during the
If we
time
just take,
of
like, the
trying to get the call
Netflix,
done to now, my fat ass had to take a shit, and I'm sorry.
Oh
I had
my
to.
gosh,
I had to handle business, and you're calling me. I'm looking at my phone like, well, I can't answer this now. And then I got a second call like,
yeah, the world sees you on the toilet. That would be great.
I
That
was
would
there
be
like, you
not
know
good.
what? We don't wait this long. I might as well just go on here, podcast while being, and you know how that goes.
Well, we're glad you're here, bro.
Thank you very much.
We were breaking down, basically, just to catch you up, we were talking about the difference between a hero, vigilante, and a villain, and the motives behind that. Also, like, where those lines are drawn, where the barriers are, what happens to that person in order for them to become like a quote unquote bad person, when they could have just been a good person that had, some crappy things happen to them. But
Prime example of that is the alternate universe where Bruce Wayne died and Thomas Wayne became Batman, and the wife and Martha Wayne became the Joker. That's the best way to look at it. Like, a tragic situation happened, and both of them did exactly the opposite of each other. Both spectrums.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that line is crossed based on when the tragedy happens in your life? Because I feel like, if you're a kid, like Bruce Wayne lost his parents when he was a kid. A lot of things happen to heroes when they're young. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like they grow up, either trying to figure it out, they have more time. But when you're an adult and everything is snatched away from you as an adult, you just like, oh, I ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing to live for out here. I'm about to just wreak havoc out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So it's, do you think that plays a part, or do we, or what? What y'all think?
I think personally it depends on when that person is most vulnerable. Now, some people are more vulnerable when they're younger, of course, but some people in their adult ages can be vulnerable depending on what they got going on in their life. You don't know what they're going through. So I think it really plays a part of what is that person going through at that moment, and how vulnerable are they?
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean,
Like,
that's
if we go back to like what I was saying about the Punisher, because I just remembered it. But anyway, it was in like you were saying about the vulnerability. Like, if we go back to the Netflix portrayal of the Punisher, like his family was killed or whatnot. They were out, at a carnival or whatnot. That vulnerability and what happened to his family, like, because he was not in a position to necessarily protect them the way that he wanted to. That's what made him who he was. Like, had he had the means to protect them using the skills that he had, maybe he wouldn't have turned out to be the Punisher. Maybe it would have been something else. But it was because in that moment when the tragedy happened, he felt vulnerable. Same thing with Bruce Wayne. You're a little kid in an alley. You lose your parents. You feel vulnerable. I think that vulnerability and never wanting to feel that again, that changes your methods when you actually, step into your own as a hero or a vigilante. So
Agree. Totally agree.
Yep.
Yep.
I want to play devil advocate for a second.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
oh,
Go for it.
a pile of toys over
What what if the change that happens, hero or villain, is completely independent of what the tragedy is, and that change is just who that person will turn into if they're hit with the vulnerable moment? What if that's the case?
Mm.
What if
Mm.
what if the example that Ruben said, what if no matter what tragedy hit Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne, they were going to go those separate ways, regardless if it was Bruce being killed, someone else being killed, what if that change is just inevitable in some moment of vulnerability?
So you're saying it's in you all along?
Right.
That's essentially what I'm asking. Like, do we
Yeah.
think that's possible, or do we think it is specific to what happened to each individual?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh,
That's
I mean, I do. That's a good one. I think that I don't know, man. It kind of goes back to the Joker and the Killing Joke, man. All it takes is one bad day. You know what I'm saying? And it can change your whole life. One bad day. But I do believe that people are, innately just a certain way. I do think that there are some things that are going to cause you to go left, just because you always had that in you to go left. That all you needed was a little push. You know what I'm saying? And there's and I feel like some people are just genuinely good. They just try to do the right thing all the time, regardless. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Cap. You know what I'm saying? He was always, before he got the super, soldier serum or whatever, he was always trying to take up for whoever. That was just who he was. You know what I'm saying? But then you have the Joker, who was always being picked on, always having these issues or whatever. And that one bad day just made him snap. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just think that some people just have it within them, anyway.
That's true.
It's like
I think it was more.
thing.
It's more of a balance thing. Like, where we keep bringing up the Punisher, but the Punisher is always a good prime example of something like this. Whereas his family kept him balanced. He did all kinds of shit throughout comic books, throughout movies, whatever. He's done all kinds of shit, but he always wanted to get back to his family. Shut up, Marcus. So he got back to his family, and that's his home. That's his resting spot. And then they took that away. Now he has no balance. Now he doesn't have left and right. He only has probably just right, and that's all he does. Is he don't care what the motives are behind anybody else. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and he goes after you. That's pretty much how it is.
I'm out. Ruben, why you got the R. Kelly tape filter on your
What is it?
What?
Oh my God!
Woods. I absolutely not, Woods. I'm not.
All right, guys, it's been fun.
First of all,
It's been fun. Y'all take it easy.
Thank you so much for joining.
First of all,
Blerd Panel.
I just set up my workstation last night, and I'm not finished setting it up, so I don't have any lights. All my lights are back here. And
no, Ruben, you're not the one out of line here.
I'm not the one out of line, and he's not gonna play me on this one.
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play with these guys. I'm not gonna do it today. I'm not.
Now,
Marcus is weak.
only because I ain't got a beard.
Actually, I do have
got a beard.
Damn, see, does that help? Does that help? See, look, now I got a fucking shadow over my face. You happy? Are you fucking happy?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I got
Are you fucking happy?
Anyway,
Terrible.
get back to
the
your
next
example.
question,
The
please.
lighting is good. It's
Get
still
back to your-
standby. Y'all see it. Y'all see it.
Get back to your example, Rube.
Oh man.
No,
Who
I
said
don't.
that?
No, fuck that. No, we're gonna talk about R. Kelly now. Okay.
No, no, we're not.
No,
R.
No,
Kelly's
we're
a
not.
nigga,
Hey,
man.
R. Kelly's
No.
a vigilante.
No,
R. Kelly is a
we're
villain.
not.
no, he is a
not.
villain.
He is
We're
not
not
a
going there. We are not going there today.
only every
No.
He's a villain that made good music.
every villain
Bill
He's a
Cosby was a
killmonger.
villain.
in this bitch.
in their
No,
own
Morgan
mind, every
Freeman's a
villain
villain.
thinks they're right.
He is the
Whatever
Pied
they're doing,
Piper,
Oh,
man.
gosh, guys.
everything he was doing was right because them parents signed them kids over. Everybody,
Okay.
everybody doesn't want to blame. Look, you're 16 years old and you're
And
Piper, no swipe.
with a bunch of adults.
Swiper, no
You're not gonna
swiping.
take you home. Like, you're supposed to be over 21 to be in this party.
Everybody.
Oh,
You gotta ask for ID. And she knew, they knew what they were going into.
Ruben is really gonna ride this out.
yeah.
He's really gonna ride this out.
We are trying to
Hey, if we're gonna go down this dark alley, might as well keep going.
like no, we are not. We are not. We're gonna
Let's
stay
stop.
on these villains and
Y'all
these
look at the wrong turn. I'm
vigilantes.
like, hey, I just take what's given to me.
Anyway.
Who is Watts? Oh, no.
Fantasy villains only.
What is wait? What you talking about?
Watts 09.
Not Marcus. What you talking about, Darius?
Watts 09. Is that Aquila Watts?
Yeah, it is.
Shout out to Aquila, man. Shout out. To
Shout out to
Oh, I'm
Sheila.
not even looking
Hey,
at
sis.
Maybe I should go over there and look at the actual.
The chat.
Yeah.
Y'all excuse my brothers. They need Jesus. They really do. They really need Jesus. But
Yeah.
anyway. All right. Wait, what were we even talking about? Oh my gosh.
Villains, heroes, vigilantes.
Yeah, heroes
Right
vigilant. Ruben was saying something.
I
But
don't
anyway.
forgot.
Dude, let's not go back to Ruben for a second. Let's just hold off on Ruben.
Let's give Ruben a break. Anyway, I'm not gonna play with y'all today. All right. Well, we'll hit the next question. How about that? All right. So what were we just talking about? Villain, vigilante, and hero. All right, so cool. Then let's talk about this. Where do we draw the line of killing someone for justice, quote unquote, using violence to right wrongs?
Justice is in the eye of the beholder.
It is.
Hold on.
Because hold on. I got an example.
Go for it.
Daredevil season 1, when Kingpin sat there and put dude's head where the door in the doorway of the car and just kept slamming it. He felt like he needed to do that, and he did it. He didn't feel wrong about it. He just did it.
Okay.
So
I don't think that's
this guy
correct.
deserves.
I don't think that's right.
Did he
In
deserve
his mind, he
justice
thought it
for
was
how he
right.
was killed?
In R. Kelly mind, he thought he was right.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Did
Here
this
we
guy
go.
deserve justice for how
But
he
Wait.
was killed?
okay, so let's talk about Superman, right? Man of Steel, when he kills Zod, when Zod was about to get that, he was about to, you know what I'm saying, kill that family or whatever, right? Superman had to like break his neck, you know what I'm saying? So that's justified. Everybody could understand why he did that, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I mean, it was justice in a sense, because if he didn't kill him, he would have killed the family. That, you know what I'm saying? So it's it's a little tricky with that one, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Man.
I think it really depends on the person, like all of you guys are kind of saying, and the reason behind what they're doing. To me, prime example, I guess, would be Thanos, since Endgame just came out. In my opinion, I hate to say it, but sometimes you can kind of understand where people are coming from, because
Not
he
him.
tried, but he tried to tell his people, this place is dying, our land is dying. They didn't listen, and he's like, guys, I'm trying to tell you guys we need to do something, because all of us are going to die. And then look at everybody on Titan. So because that happened, he came back and he's like, I'm just gonna help y'all out then. Like, I know it was wrong because he took half the universe. But he's like, I'm just gonna help y'all out before this even happens, and I'm just gonna just get rid of half of y'all so that y'all, I guess, don't have to deal with what I went through. I guess you could kind of see that, but then at the same time, it's like, well, then how do you determine who's right, who's wrong, and what they're doing? Like, we cheer for the person that just killed somebody because they're evil, which, yeah, we get it, but someone else does something wrong and we're like, shame, shame, shame. So where do you draw the line?
Well, I would say, like I was saying, my boy Jason Todd.
My
Get
dude.
murked the way he got murked. But does that give him right and authority to do what he does? Well, not now because they revamping him, but what he did after he came back, did he have authority to run after the people who was doing the same wrong that led to the way that he got murdered? I mean,
shout out to the best person ever be Batman, Jason Todd.
no. We will not do that. Not.
You right. It was Azrael. You right.
Oh my
No.
God. Y'all, Jensen got lost. I think I'm finna add him back. Jensen, are you there?
He's
Yeah, I'm
here.
here.
Oh, okay. I thought you got
He's up here
lost.
talking noise.
Nah, I had actually went to check the YouTube live chat and I got kicked out. So I had
He's like talking noise from the other room. Like we're all in one. We're on the living room. He in the other room still talking shit.
That's your boy.
I can't.
I hear y'all over there talking about me.
I'm not finna.
So, Darius, let me ask you something about Red Hood. I don't know if you be keeping up with him now, but he kidnapped Penguin and took his casino.
Right.
And you see what he doing to Batman now. So you think he right for that? Because Batman tried to hurt him for shooting Penguin in the face on live TV.
I think Jason, and this is with any way that he's written, like Jason is always trying to teach Batman a lesson, like trying to teach him something that Batman has already learned, and he's learned that it's the wrong way and it's not the way that he wants to do things. So, I mean, it's just Jason's gonna continue to do this, like do stuff to try to prove Batman's wrong or prove that, you know, his method's better than Batman's. But he's got to realize, like, Bruce has been doing this for years. He's tried, you know, everything that Jason's doing now. Like, he's found his way, and there's no way around it. He's found his way to be the best way. So, I mean, Jason's basically just, you know, like a dog chasing his tail. Like, he's just running in circles with it.
I think, well, first of all, Jason's from the street. He always gonna be street. He's street. But I think what you said is true to a point. Well, some of Jason's methods, Bruce has never been that lethal per se. I guess you can see what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah.
Like how he does things. That's what really made him mad about when he shot the Penguin on live TV.
Right.
And even though the Penguin didn't die, but you know, he shot him because he found out that Jason's daddy worked for the Penguin, but he kind of got killed, you know, working for the Penguin. And the Penguin actually went to Jason's daddy's grave and like dug up his body or something like that, I think, or something like that. What? So he did that for real. It was a couple months ago.
Wow.
And Jason shot him in the eye.
Yeah, and then kidnapped him, put him behind a fish tank. And then, you know, then Bruce found out that, you know, Jason's still alive. But now Jason's like, what are you doing to me? You trying to arrest me? I haven't did nothing. So it's kind of like Jason's messing with him per se, just so like, yeah, man, I mean, you might be the Batman, but you're not far from getting messed with. And I can show you where you're doing wrong. Per se. I mean, he's the second born son, so of course he's going to act crazy.
You're right.
So I got a question.
Yo.
Go for it.
Okay. So
say you about R. Kelly, I don't want to hear
it. Say you watch a Space Jam.
Okay, I'm watching Space Jam.
And you get to the end of the movie and like he has to go to the baseball game.
Okay.
But because we're getting rid of R. Kelly, do you have to cut that part out and not play the music when he comes in?
I thought this was about to be something like
I really
thought the Monstars got fouled, so it should have been some foul shots at the end of the game or something. Come on.
No, it's not even about the foul shots. It's about the fact that we can't see him come into the baseball game, the AAA baseball game, and you know, see the spaceship and everything.
No. I thought this was really going somewhere.
R. Kelly good in my book, man. He good in my book. He never tried to touch me.
I'm done.
You know, I met him back in 07, well 06, at the Chicago Classic.
Like we weren't all there.
The night before
the
night before. We went to
like oh yeah, we weren't there. No. We weren't there.
We went to the chocolate factory.
Okay, so I do have a serious question though.
Okay.
Getting back to the discussion. So earlier, like in the very first part of the conversation, we were talking about like when you're vulnerable and things like that, right? So at what point do you think the victim in the situation becomes the suppressor?
Say that again.
Oh,
Like, at what
When
point
it,
do
yeah,
you think that the victim then becomes the suppressor? We're talking about being vulnerable, right? And things
yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
When they
So
end
what do
up
y'all
doing the
think?
same, when they end up doing the same thing that
Exactly.
they got them to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yep.
I mean, and that's a society thing anyway. Like I feel like a lot of things that we go or deal with today, when people are talking about, everybody wanting equal rights and everybody wanting these things, but I feel like at the same time, when we get them, is equal what you want, or do you just want to be in that position to where you are at the top and you looking down on
Mm-hmm.
somebody else? So I mean, I feel like just like with Killmonger, you know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't trying to balance anything, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to be that, he was trying to take over, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
clearly, even though he didn't say it like that, that's what he wanted, you know what I'm saying? Like that's that. So that's the problem. That's the overall problem, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is that the people who have the power, they're not responsible with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's the whole difference between the hero and the villain. You know what I'm saying? Is what do you do with the power you're given? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I got to say about that. I feel like Stephen Paul wants to say something. He's looking around. Let's see what we got going.
He's trying to twist this up some type of way.
No, I mean, I actually agree 100%. I was going to quote Harvey Dent: "You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain."
Man, that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But that's
Damn.
essentially what I was going to say. Like, just yeah, what you said, Marcus. I agree 100%.
Yep. That's a
Right.
good point.
Does this
Because if
also?
you look at these MCU villains, they got the same powers, same exact powers that the heroes have, and they always use it completely different. Like, who's to
Mm-hmm.
stop, Ironmonger from going and saving the world the same way Iron Man does, or stop Yellow Jacket from going to do the same thing that Hank Pym did, trying to save the world. But they want to use those same means to get a different, end like result. I almost said end game, but end result, and it's just not. It's not working like that. Like
Right.
it ain't
Right.
working.
Right. I agree. I
That's
think
true.
it goes back to people's motives though. Like, whatever you want the end result to be drives the way that you pursue it, right? So
Okay. Okay.
with some people, it's a negative connotation to it, I guess, because they have, I guess, hate in their heart sometimes, or they may have something within them that's driving them to get to that result. And maybe that's the only thing they see. And maybe they'll do anything and everything to get to that point, no matter who it hurts, which is bad. But
It's their
I don't know.
motivation.
Yeah, it's their motivation. Right.
It's
Yeah,
it's,
I
it's
totally
basically
agree.
like what they say. Like once you become a wealthy person or become rich, the true person comes out of you. Just like when they say,
Yeah.
when you become Greek, the true person comes out of you.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
it's the same thing in just about anything. Like everything is dormant inside of us. We try not, but once we get this certain amount of power, we don't know if we whether want to use it for good or for our own well being. Like most of us are gonna end up taking care of our own selves, but like most people don't really look. I think that's what separates the hero from the villain is who's looking out for themselves and who's looking out for everybody else.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. It's like it's almost complicated, but then it's almost not complicated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's I don't
all
know.
all of them are mentally ill anyway.
Mm. No, that is
So
true.
it all it all depends on what like which direction they want to go in. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
they could be wanting to save the world, or they could be wanting to have women locked up in the house in Chicago.
We are
So,
Wow.
dropping the R. Kelly. Thank
so,
you.
so I got a question, and
Go ahead, Darius.
Madam Moderator, if you please.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do y'all feel about like nowadays? It seems like we're almost being force fed like this anti-hero stuff. Like some people that we know are known villains. Like it seems like now we're being force fed. Like this person has a good side to them. Like I used to honestly feel like Harley Quinn was unredeemable. Like there was no way that you were gonna tell me this was a good guy. Like that she was on the side of right. Like I honestly felt like she had that same sense of chaos that Joker had, and she proved that through my only experience with her at that time, the Batman the animated series and all that stuff like that.
Mhm.
But now it seems like, oh, I'm supposed to believe that she's, she's an anti-hero. Like, I get it with Deadpool, but with Harley Quinn, with Venom, like, no, like, I come from the day and age when we had one anti-hero, and that was Spawn. Like, that was it.
True.
Yeah,
that's it.
True.
The Punisher, I wouldn't even consider him an anti-hero because he was a hero. He just had, other methods. But now it just seems like everybody wants to walk that line. Like, y'all feel like it's being fed down our throat.
Yes.
Media.
I agree.
So you're saying there aren't any true villains?
Yeah, like it's not okay to be a villain anymore. Like, that was my biggest problem with the Venom movie. Like, I want bad Venom. Like, Topher Grace, muddled that up for a while, but
we're not going to talk about Spider-Man 3.
It's a wonderful movie. It's the Batman and Robin of the Spider-Man movies.
It is.
And
that's a great comparison. That's really good. That's really good. Spot on.
No, I do have to agree with you, Darius, though. I think we are. I think, and I hate to say this, but I also think it's because of the generation and the people, because a lot of these people are a lot more sensitive than the folks I grew up around. And you have to be careful. You have to be careful how you step around people. You have to be careful what you say. Like, can we not just have a true villain, or do we have to play the devil's advocate and be like, well, he's a villain, but this is why? I don't know. Maybe it's just because people can't truly accept a full out villain.
That's my problem with Black Panther. Like, why couldn't Killmonger just be a villain? Why do we have to justify him? Like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm gonna say this part, okay? Because I get it, but it's not as entertaining. And most of us, that the targeted audience, we're not gonna fall for this is just a villain. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough character development. A lot of people don't know why. Yeah, that's cool. But even a Joker in his own right, they made him good. Like they gave, his script was good. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't so much as like you have these people nowadays. It's like, okay, what's your motivation? Why are you this way? We want to know what led up to this. You know what I'm saying? It makes the storytelling a little more, intricate. It makes it a little more entertaining to where where this villain came. They're doing a whole movie on the Joker, bro. They're doing a whole movie on the Joker, no Batman. You know what I'm saying? Because people want to understand what's going on in their mind. Like, we know, like, the dude is crazy. How'd he get there? What's going on? What's led up to this? You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. I think it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? And Thanos, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got people sitting here, it causes debate, it causes dialogue, it causes people to get on a panel and talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's why they're doing this. You know what I'm saying? It causes people to think, man, wait a minute. Because if you see yourself in these characters, you think to yourself, could I do that? What side would I be on? What do I agree with? You know what I'm saying?
We were just talking about that. Me and Marcus, we were just talking about that.
Yeah. And so it makes you it makes you think a little bit more. I feel like it's not as easy as this is a good guy and this is the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? It's not I don't know. So I mean, I see both sides, but I feel like that's the reason. That's probably what.
I see Stephen Paul itching. Go ahead.
I agree that's the reason. It's just, to Wood's point, it's becoming a cop out because if you look at certain villains, like, you had to, like, if this person is a villain, and you're just gonna have to present them in an entertaining way. So, like, if you think about both Jokers, we didn't know their motivation. Both of them are just crazy, but they were written well enough, acted well enough to where we didn't have to try to get an entertainment value from them having a complicated story. They were just a good villain.
You know what I think it is, Paul? I think that's their way of getting good actors to play good villains, is by making them not as bad anymore, because they know they're not going to get an Oscar-worthy performance like a Heath Ledger, because nobody expected Heath Ledger to be that good. It was Heath Ledger, like the dude that was dancing around the football stadium, like in whatever that movie was in the 90s. But like, honestly, that's how you get a Tom Hardy to play Venom. That's how you get, a Margot Robbie to play what's her face? Joker.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But that's how you do it.
Harley Quinn.
Like, you're bad, but you're not all the way bad.
Right.
Sequels.
There are layers to you. You know what I'm saying? You got layers.
But it's storytelling. That's what they're trying to do. They can only tell one side of the story for so long. Now we have to try to humanize the villains Why are they this way? I say it all the time. Like in the Daredevil series, Wilson Fisk was my favorite character in there because they humanized him.
Yeah,
they make it seem like, oh, he's not that bad. He's just trying to do it. Oh, he's doing terrible shit, but he's not that bad. It's like I can get with him. I'll go work for Wilson Fisk. But you're like, wait a minute, he's just randomly killing people. So it's like it's trying to numb us to the fact that, you know, and just with the culture that we're in now, it's like everything's all about mental health this, mental health that. And that's what they're showing. They're showing more of the villains like they were regular people at one point. And that's what they're trying to show us. Like, oh, you can be a regular person too, until you like, you know, you see your mom get shot in the alley for some reason. Then you're down that road. So it's, with the whole, I think it's just like what Mark is saying, the layering of every character. You know, you can only tell the story of Batman so long that we're gonna have to find out how did the Joker become Joker. Even though in the comic books we never really got a true origin story. It's just like, okay, let's just make some shit up. And now they try to do that in the movies. Like think about like we saw how, even though I'm referencing Batman Forever, I can't believe I'm referencing this movie, but we saw how Jim Carrey became the Riddler. We saw how Edward Nygma was already losing it, and it just took one little thing to bump him over, and he became the Riddler. They're trying to humanize everybody. Like they're saying, like, if you go back and look at it, like, man, I remember being at work and being stressed out and blah 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 this and blah. Man, if my boss would have cussed me out like that too, I might have killed him. I know it sounds extreme, but that's what they're every character.
You go to work. F these kids, man.
I can't.
Knocking over kids.
The layering that they're putting in there, I think it's just to extend it to get more money out of our pockets in order to go watch these movies, and it's working.
Oh, it's working.
Because I want to see how this. I want to see other villain origin stories.
Yeah. Yeah. You said you don't, Darius.
No, I don't. I'm tired of.
You over it?
I'm tired of like the watered down villain that's gonna like turn to the good side at the end. Like everything don't need to be, you know, what is that? Return of the Jedi. Like everything don't need to have a redemptive quality to it. I need some crazy villain that's gonna be a villain to the end of it. Like if you go to jail, so what? Like. That's what I love about The Dark Knight, and it's not even my favorite comic book movie. They never explained why the Joker was doing what he did. They never explained what made him crazy, and they never really caught him at the like. Yeah, he lost, but you never saw him go to jail. You never saw like they left the door open, and you know Heath Ledger had an untimely death or whatnot, but they left the door open for what could have been so much more on that. Like it wasn't like we redeemed them or we just killed them off. You know, so we could get to the next movie like Marvel tended to do with all of their movies prior to.
I feel you.
The MCU was an accident.
It definitely was.
They rolled the dice. That's why I tell people to take phase 1 out and leave the rest how it is, because they finally were able to go back and try to correct some of the stuff. Because they didn't understand. They didn't think it was going to go where it was at. Like, we're going to try it. We're gonna roll the dice. It happened. Like, oh shit, we sold a lot of tickets to Avengers. Well, maybe people want to see this. Let's keep going, and then we get Thor: The Dark World, and I don't. Yeah.
But it's crazy how they made Endgame make you care about all the movies that you hated from the MCU.
Yes,
like,
that is very true.
Endgame made me go rewatch Thor: The Dark World, and I don't remember watching that since. Like,
I only watched it for Kat Dennings.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Version for her.
She's a teenager, man. That's not cool. That's the R. Kelly culture, man. You can't be doing that.
Hey, I asked us to drop that a while ago, please.
Damn.
Thank you.
Turn it back against Darius. There we go.
Please and thank you. Excuse me. I know you guys can hear me. I asked us to drop that, so if we don't mind moving forward, thank you. But anyway, I agree with what everybody is saying. I think I have one more question, but hold on. I'm checking something.
Just one. That's it.
Y'all can talk however long y'all want to talk. I'm here with y'all. I mean, it's cool. I said I have one more question, but that doesn't mean you guys don't have anything to say. But no.
That's true.
All right. So, last question. We already talked about this, but I guess I want to expand on it just a little bit more. We talked about enacting change through acceptable and non-acceptable violence, right? So at
Mm.
what point does, like, I guess, self-defense, we'll say self-defense, or violence for justice go too far?
In real life or comic books?
Right.
Either one. Go for it. Either one or both.
Um, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it depends on your power set. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about like the trailer to Spider-Man Far From Home, right? Like the guys, they clearly shooting at Spider-Man. He jumping all over the place and he just webs them all up and saves them for the police to get them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they may have been injured in the midst of that, but they all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And plus, they were shooting at him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whatever he did is definitely acceptable. Now you think about what was it, The Dark Knight? We were just talking about when Batman dropped that gangster from that like second story building or whatever. He like clearly broke his ankles, and the guy was like, "Well, I'm not gonna die from this fall." Da, 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 da. And he just dropped him. You know, he broke his ankle. So I mean, it wasn't necessary for Batman to do that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
he did it, and you know, but the guy didn't die. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know if that was necessarily acceptable or not. But I feel like if you have a way to say to give people the justice or get caught up by the police or whatever, versus them actually injuring themselves, then you should go that route with it. You know what I'm saying? You
Okay.
know, I just feel like there are ways you can do that. Your ways you can go around it. But you know, most people just want to, you know, inflict a little pain on you because they feel like you deserve it. So that's kind of what Batman does.
This is true.
Hey, leave Bruce out of this.
Oh my gosh.
It all depends on the person, on how they view it and how they judge it, on whether they
Right.
think it's justified or not. Because think in real world, somebody goes and kidnaps your kid, and you end up finding your kid, and now you find out your kid is all like beat up, battered, bruised, and everything, and now you want vengeance.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So, I mean, to me, in the way I see it, like I think that person is justified to just go do it, eye for an eye, go for it, go do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But in the eyes of the law, that's not right.
Mm.
So it all depends on the situation. It's all situational. It all depends on your viewpoint on it.
Yeah.
And everybody's viewpoint is different, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because sometimes I think, like, well, for those of y'all out there who know me, my dad's a pastor. You know what I'm saying? He's a good man. Yeah, hallelujah. And it's like, I could never see him doing anything wrong like that. I just can't. But I'm like, if something happened like what Rube just said, my dad would go off. He'd
Yeah.
go nuts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He has 2 daughters, and we
Yeah.
are his world right now. My mom's not here, so we are his world. I know he would be like, oh, no, not my girls. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yo,
it's
that would
really
make a
just
fire CW TV show.
Ooh, like the preacher.
the preacher.
Rum.
I'm gonna write them. And we're gonna see. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Rube, because all of that is true. It depends on it depends on your situation. It depends on what's going on. And I guess all that ties back into just we were talking about being vulnerable in your situation and how that affects, your motive. So I get it. I definitely get it.
It didn't affect Thanos when he threw Gamora off that ledge.
Oh, that was horrible. Oh my gosh.
No
I was like,
remorse.
"Did you
He's
really?"
like
No remorse. He just was like, bye. Bye,
he
Felicia.
gave us that one Indian tear that comes down and then
Wow.
flung her ass like a sack of potatoes.
He was gone. He was gone. Darius, what is going on with you?
Y'all already know I got so much. Vormir is a like, man, right now I'm like, I got so much. I got so many questions about Vormir that somebody need to answer. Like,
Go for it. Go for it.
If it requires time travel, we don't know.
I sent y'all, like, how in the world is Cap supposed to get that Soul Stone back to Vormir?
I've got a few
he
questions
just
about.
I saw that today. I read that today or saw that on YouTube today.
He don't have to see
it.
The Red Skull is over there. All he has to do is go get close enough, Kobe it over that ledge, and he's gone.
But he don't even know the Red Skull's that. Like, nobody came back and said, hey, yeah, the Red. Like, I'm pretty sure Hawkeye didn't know to tell him, like, yo, the Red Skull's there. Like, pretty sure Steve never told stories of the Red Skulls to any of the other Avengers. So Hawkeye, when he encountered them, it's not like, oh crap, you that dude Steve told me about. Like,
well, I don't think he's the Red Skull, but he's technically not the Red Skull. I mean, because he can't leave.
I'm pretty sure if Steve went, he'd be like, "Yo, crap, it's you." Like,
No, he gives him a big wave and then he hits the little thing on his wrist and he's out. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" There
but
you go.
still, like we saw in Endgame, Steve's first time going to space was when they went to go kill Thanos. Like, so how if he went back in time, how was he supposed to go back to Vormir and put that stone back?
Or
Alternate
Asgard.
Alternate timelines.
Yeah.
Don't just explain. That's what they do in comic books when they don't know what else to do.
Time travel.
Time travel. Back to the future.
Right.
Hot tub time machine.
We don't know what happened. We just know time travel. That's all we can say.
That's the answer to everything. Time
And
travel.
I feel like
That movie
said you gotta
was all
sacrifice
fan
somebody
service.
you love. He said something you love. So Hawkeye could have threw that old crappy bow and arrow off the ledge, and we would have been good. We would have still had Black Widow.
Said a soul for a soul, man. Said a soul for either soul.
Yeah, soul for soul. His bow ain't got a soul.
And
His bow is interchangeable, but it's not a soul. It don't have a soul.
yeah.
I bet it's got.
It is not sentient.
Lucille.
I can't.
Wanda.
I can't. With
Like
you guys.
now, what if it would have actually happened in reverse? Like Hawkeye jumped in there and sacrificed himself, but she never got the stone. Like what if that would happen? See? Yeah, I never thought about that. Like it's supposed to be a soul for a soul. Like, yeah, I got you. He jumps in there. Hawkeye sacrificed himself. But what if they never accepted his soul and now he's not? Now he's on the ground just dead and all chalk outline and everything, and she never got the soul stone.
That would suck. That would suck so bad.
Like,
I
that
don't know.
says a lot about Black Widow. Like she never loved him. Like, oh, well, all right.
I think she did love him though.
Yeah, she loved dude, man.
But
They established that a long time ago.
Yeah, he saved her life.
Yeah.
Many
I
times.
thought they was always gonna put her and Steve together though, like some kind of way. Like I just felt like they were gonna try to shoehorn that in there.
No, she wanted the pickle. That's what she wanted, was a pickle.
Mm-mm.
If you go back and watch Winter Soldier, she wanted Steve. Like she wanted him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, they had the chemistry going. I think that's
I think she just tossed around the Avengers.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Because
I'm done. I'm checking out.
They may have a relationship between her and Hawkeye. Then they had her and Cap. Then her and fucking Bruce Banner. So I'm like, don't pass it around.
So somebody commented on our conversation we just had, and they said once they got the stone, Red Skull was freed.
So he was like the genie in Aladdin.
The director didn't say that.
No.
The director said that he took the soul gem back, and that Red Skull was not technically Red Skull like in his previous life or whatever. It's just basically like he was just the guardian of the song. That was just his job. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like going to Chick-fil-A, yo, they got my order wrong. You take this back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a simple exchange, and then you boom, 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 bow, got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So
did he say Chick-fil-A messed up his order?
Chick-fil-A don't mess up orders, bro.
That's
No, they mess them up, but you don't care. Chick-fil-A will mess your order up and it'll be better than your original order.
Nah, you wanted the large fry, bro. We know you wanted large fry and you wanted bacon on there. We know, bro.
They don't mess up orders. They don't mess up orders. You ordered the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
I don't know. I still have a few questions. Maybe I just missed out. Like the one about the Soul Stone, like that was one of the questions. Second, how did Cap return the Space Stone without the Tesseract in 1970? How did they even get the Reality Stone? Did they take the ether out of Jane, then get it out of there? Or did
he took a syringe and put that shit back in her?
Yep.
I mean, getting it or put like hot, so like he just re-injects a stone. Like what? How does?
Yeah.
There's so many questions, bro. So many questions.
An injection. There you go.
Why didn't they grab the fake Infinity Gauntlet from Odin's like trophy case or whatnot?
Because it didn't do anything.
But I'm saying like that's the reason why the Hulk got messed up, because they didn't have a real Infinity Gauntlet, right?
No, he was gonna get messed up regardless because them stones too powerful.
Oh, I'm just assuming it was because he didn't have like an actual gauntlet that was made to hold the stones.
Oh, yeah. No, man. That mother messed up Thanos, man.
Do what?
Did anybody know it was there? Because wasn't Hela the one that saw it?
Hela knocked it over. It was a replica. It wasn't the real thing.
It wasn't real. Yeah, it
But
wasn't
what I'm
real.
saying is Thor did Thor even know it was down there?
I'm sure he knew.
He may have.
Because he had that little, hot tub vision in Ultron, so he knew what the stones were.
But
Why he
I'm saying is,
was in it? That man was in a hot tub.
I hate the fact that they actually. I hate the fact that they cut the scene so short because it was like, so you just gonna swim around in this little dirty water and that's it? That's all you're gonna do? You know what does this scene mean? What does this mean? And then you see the deleted scene and they stretch it out and they tell you everything that was going on. Like, oh, that's what it meant. Why didn't you leave that shit in the movie? Made so much more sense.
I don't know.
So bad. It's so bad.
I don't know.
James Spader did a good Ultron.
Yeah.
So it's with all the questions with Endgame was just basically fan service. That's why a lot of people say they liked Infinity War more than Endgame, but you actually have to take both movies together, because it was one long movie. They get mad at Captain Marvel saying she didn't do shit. She wasn't really in the movie. She actually filmed the movie before she was even Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
There was not even a script for Captain Marvel before when she started filming.
Because they shot them back to back. They shot it all at once.
So she think about it. You show up to the studio with your what's that hairstyle she had to get?
I don't know.
Talk to your manager hairstyle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And you know what? Also, sidebar. Because she got that haircut at the time, and Jensen knows this in the comics, Captain Marvel and War Machine get together.
Yeah.
There we go.
And that 5 years, she gave him that look like, hey, be careful. It's like, oh, she got that I Bang Black dude's haircut now. Like, okay. I get it. I get it. So, but she like I said, she wasn't even announced as Captain Marvel yet, and she shows up on set to play as Captain Marvel. Like, how bogus is that?
Yeah.
I don't even know I got this role. I'm just getting paid some money just to do this, and here I am.
Hey, Peter Parker.
I know. That was so funny.
It's like everybody talked about in Infinity War how Black Panther didn't have a big role in that movie, even though after he had the amazing movie that he had, like as soon as he got through wrapping up on Black Panther, he went and shot Infinity War.
I thought they were shooting at the same time.
He didn't need a big part.
His scene was shot right after he got through filming his parts.
Well, I guess they were filming, but maybe not his part.
But he didn't need no big part in Endgame. Though. That was all about the original three. So he really didn't need no big part.
Yeah,
right, but how people now that don't know shit about comic books or don't know how to Google anything, just automatically know everything. Why didn't this happen? Why didn't this? You haven't been business with me.
But what I could have did though, that would have been nice.
Yeah, but what I tell people, man, about Captain
Marvel, they could have said Quicksilver.
But he specifically said. But Captain Marvel specifically said that she was going to be in space because there's no other Avengers out there besides her. So she already said she was going to be gone a lot. But people just don't seem to understand. Like, yo, she said she was going to be gone.
Yeah, she did. She did.
But it's a lot of Captain Marvel hate, so they kind of look over that, though.
Nobody understands. Nobody researches.
Well, no, because like you said, this movie was really a fan service. It was a nod to a lot of the things that we've been following and we've been watching.
But they should have known we were gonna dig into it. Like
they knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
Yeah.
Just gloss over stuff with us anymore.
Right. Agreed. Now, how did we get on Endgame though? But that was cool because that was actually a nice way to wrap things up.
Yeah. I knew it was gonna get to Endgame eventually. I ain't know when, but I figured it was gonna come up.
Yeah.
It got there. It got there real quick. Before we go though, guys, do you guys want to let everybody know where they could find you, like on the interwebs and stuff, before we wrap it up?
I'm everywhere, man. Twitter, Jensen the King. Instagram, J Start. Got my own page, Jensen's World, and I'm probably gonna do like an impromptu live comic show on Twitter for the first time Thursday sometime.
Oh, dope. Okay. Dude said he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Transcendent.
I mean, dude, famous, man.
Okay.
He really is.
Somebody popped in my jaw like, "Hey, you know Jensen?" I said, "What?
Who are you? I ain't never seen you here before. How the hell did you get in the building?"
He showed me a picture on the phone. I'm like, How? Like,
I can't.
I was like,
Dude's
man,
famous.
this guy know everybody, man.
Yeah, he does. This is so true. This is very true.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, I go next. I am Marcus Phillips. Make you find me on Facebook. Follow my YouTube page. I do movie reviews and reactions and all kinds of stuff. Road Chronicles. I need to get back on the Road Chronicles a little bit. But yeah, man, I'm out here. Twitter, the favorite one. Instagram for your inspirational, motivational quotes and all that good stuff, man. That's what I do.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
I hear you, bro.
Stephen E. Paul, mainly do absurd Facebook posts. That's my main thing. Twitter, Dr. Luop. Instagram, Dr. Luop. If you don't know what that means, and you're on this call right now, I'm judging you.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
I'm going last.
Right.
Go ahead, Darius.
Oh, you going last, Ruth? All right. Go Darius.
All right.
It's the one and only D Woods. You can follow me on my personal page at Worldwide Woods because I'll be everywhere. That's Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. Or you can follow my professional page, my DJ thing. I still do that, from time to time at All Star DJ Dreamy. Just other than that, keep it easy, keep it breezy, lemon squeezy. I have nothing to say.
Okay, lemon squeezy.
All right, lemon squeezy. Yeah. All right, Ruben.
Ruben D. Garcia, aka Rube the Great, aka the Bearded Alien. You can find me on YouTube, Rube the Great. You can find me on Instagram at Rube the Great. You can find me on Twitter, not doing anything at Rube the Great. You can find me on Facebook. No, you can't. I got other projects I'm working on. I'm still working on a lot of. I just upgraded a lot of my equipment, so I'm still working on a lot of video projects that I have. Doing other video projects for other people, going independent on that stuff. And Marcus and I got some projects that we're working on that'll be coming up in the near future. So yeah, I'm out here.
Nice. Well, awesome. You guys already know where to find us, so I don't really have to say that, but don't forget to check us out at www.planetblerddoom.com. And I think that's it for me. Thank you guys for joining me this year. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Appreciate
Keep doing
you.
your thing, or we so proud of you, girl. Keep doing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
man.
you, Darius. I appreciate that, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that. All right. Goodbye to everybody. You guys have a happy Memorial. You guys be safe.
Catch y'all later.
And that's it. All right. Bye, guys. What is Darius doing?
I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. Everybody just hang up. It's okay.